Hey, girl.
Hello there. So here we are, the end of it all. Dinosaurs are a part of what we are now. Our lives have been changed drastically by the events of the past few years. And as you well know, we've come to accept that these prehistoric beasts shall forever roam the earth alongside humanity and those creatures that we didn't create. If you're hearing this, you've made it this far, but it's probably been a huge challenge adjusting to this new world. And if you're out here in the wild, then there are a few things that you should know in order to survive and even thrive in the places where danger lurks around every corner. I have spent the past few years compiling the perfect survival guide to see you through this Jurassic World, and here it is, the final chapter, Dominion. One of the greatest terrors of our time is the mighty Leviathan, an immortal titan that stalks the seas in search of its prey. This has rendered travel through certain waters a dangerous task which should not be attempted unless you have an adequate means of escape, such as a helicopter at the ready. This is especially important if you're doing something that is going to attract the attention of the marine monster, such as fishing for extraordinary amounts of the sea beast's dwindling food supply. We have already overfished the seas into a lifeless plastic wasteland, and you taking away what little food the creature has left shall only tempt fate into serving you up on a silver platter. These creatures have only one currency, and that's digestible income, so really this is a retelling of that age-old rule. This also rings true on land, as you should always beware that anything you intend on eating might also be the apple of something else's eye. Something with big claws and huge pointy teeth. Now, one of the biggest faux pas that many in the dinosaur survival game make is believing that they should face their fears in person, or that they can control the chaotic creatures with enough security and big iron bars. But whatever you do, you should never agree to enter one of the prehistoric black markets that host shady back alley deals to trade dinosaurs like top trumps. First of all, these places are highly illegal, and therefore aren't even slightly regulated, meaning that you could fall into a fighting ring, or accidentally open one of the cages if you're even just a little clumsy. Secondly, the people here are not your typical friendly folk from the neighbourhood, and many of them will want to scam you, or worse. If they catch titanic lizards for fun, they can probably put you in the ground with relative ease. And finally, facing your fears is overrated, especially when those fears can in fact smell your terror like a pack of wolves. All of these factors led to the grisly deaths of Rain Delacour, a man capable of kidnapping dinosaurs and humans alike, and the other highly trained individuals who fell victim to the monstrous Atrociraptors in Malta. So it's vital that you avoid the danger at all costs. Now, if you can't stay away, such as if it's sprung up on you where you live or where you work, there are other things that you can do. Firstly, make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. That means don't go running away from a Carnotaurus without taking out your headphones, as you could be plucked up by an Allosaurus that you didn't even realize was there. Also, it's important not to stand out as a target, such as by riding a scooter instead of running, especially if it appears to offer no speed-based advantages whatsoever. And finally, remember the 3 gets. Get inside, get some food, and then get yourself behind some reinforced steel. If you do all this, you stand a much greater chance of avoiding and evading any incoming dinosaur danger, and of surviving your encounter with the Mesozoic era. Oh, also, remember what I said about escaping the sea beast via the air? Well, that applies to when you're on land too. That said, it's best to avoid too much time in the skies, as too much travelling too close to certain hotspots will inevitably bring about the Tyrannoterrors, or their impossibly huge cousins, raining down on your parade. Alas, not everyone will have the luxury of following all of this advice, and you may find yourself crashed down in prime dino territory, where you'll likely have a tough time of it, to be honest. If you do end up in such a scenario, you should always stay positive and remember that there's nothing to fear except all the ways that you're probably going to die. Or not, because if you remember the basics of hiding, running, and generally staying out of the way of all of the humongous lizards that could swat you like a fly or gut you like a fish, you'll probably find it okay out there. I have given you a bunch of rules already, after all. Use them, and you should be fine. But there is one thing that I must stress, and that's that you should definitely remember to stay out of dark, damp places, and mines in particular, because more often than not, they're a crappy place to be. You can't see, there's little in the way of food, and there always exists the off chance that they'll be teeming with either wendigos or dimetrodons and dilophosauruses, which are generally not a fun time. Luckily, these small confined spaces tend to be free of Spinosauruses, despite what those sales might seem to suggest, and the fact that some people, for some reason, wanted to see the Spinosaurus from the Isla Sorna incident of 2001 re-emerge. And I am one of them. What the fuck, Biosyn? Where is my spiny boy?
He must have had it when he...
Sorry, I got a bit carried away there. But other than that, there's not much more to it. As long as you follow these rules to a T and use good old common sense to fill in the gaps, you should be okay. Just don't get in the way of any big theropod fights. Those are really something that you want to stay clear of. And now that you're prepared to survive this dino-apocalypse, I will leave you to your own devices, and say one last time that I hope we both live long enough to meet one another someday.